Whoa, hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. It is Thursday. I'm trying to get my computer squared away over here, man. I don't know what's going on with this technology. I think the devil lives inside of it. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for being here. You know what I got to do? I got to put the cowboy hat on. It ain't official to put the cowboy hat on. That's my thinking cap right there, and it looks good. For those of you guys who may be new to the show, I've been wearing these cowboy hats. I've got a lot of cowboy hats. I've been wearing them for a long, long time, man, and there's a huge story behind all of that stuff. But I'm glad you guys are in here. Thank you for joining the chat. If you're on the Chad Prather Rumble page, please join the chat. And we like those super chats, too. Apparently, you can get $5 a pop for asking a question at the end of the episode. We'll read those things off and talk to you a little bit. We got a lot to get into today because a lot's happened since we talked to you this morning on Dear America. So make sure you hit click like. You don't have to smash the like button. You don't have to do that. Nobody chose violence today, all right? You can just caress the like button. You can just rub it until it likes it a lot. And so like the like button, okay? And make sure you're subscribed to my page on Rumble as well. Welcome to those of you who are watching by way of the permission of the Google overlords over on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook or watching on X, we love you. We welcome you. Thank you for being a part of everything that we are doing. We love ratings and reviews wherever podcasts are offered. Let's bump them numbers up. And boy, I love seeing the rankings out there under news commentary category. I think as of today, we were ranked about 55. That's not bad. Guys, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope you have been able to breathe a sigh of relief. This has been an interesting couple of days since Monday. The inauguration, of course, took place, and Trump has not slowed down. The other day, they posted a picture in the middle of the night of the lights on inside the White House, and people reporting on that said they had not seen that in years because Joe Biden, he was doing nappy time about 4 in the afternoon and woke up and had him a little Metamucil and maybe an Ensure, and then he was right back in bed and fresh diaper, and he was getting his snooze on. But that's not the way Trump operates. I'm not sure that Trump's been asleep yet, and he is certainly triggering the left, and they are crying about it. The snowflakes are melting down, and I'm okay with it, man. I feel real good about so many things that are happening. The infusion of potential money coming into our economy with the External Revenue Service, I think that's going to be a good thing. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Trump announced yesterday that in just 24 hours, $3 trillion had been promised at least to the American economy with a potential of by the end of the week seeing $6 to $7 trillion. He mentioned AI. Hopefully he'll be careful with all of that. I'm happy to discuss my opinions on the whole AI controversy that's there. I don't think that you're in the danger that some of you are worried about. And Saudi Arabia has talked about $700 billion being put into the coffers. And yesterday, Japan mentioned another $500 billion. We're talking real money here. So let's make a dent in that national debt and maybe put some money back in our pockets. I don't see why in the world we can't be the most prosperous people in the world. I've been around the world. I've seen the ultimate of poverty, and I've seen the ultimate in lavish wealth and abundance. And America should be that. This is the land of opportunity. This should be a place where the American dream is rekindled and folks live with a sense of hope. But these days, it would seem that there's more pessimism and hopelessness and a sense of loss than anything else. Maybe it's because we spend too much time on our screens on the internet having debate and discussions with people. And we've definitely been divided. But folks, I think that there's something that can bring us back together, and that is seeing some success in this country again instead of, having the Obama or Biden global apology tour for us being great. Let's make America great again. So if you agree with me on that, I want you to put MAGA in the chat, MAGA, make America great again. Blow up the chat with the MAGA. This is a trick Graham Allen taught me, man, blowing up the chat, commenting and putting it in there. It helps the algorithm. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you guys are here. Tell your family, tell your friends about this show. We're going to get off the rails a little bit like we always do. Now, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you guys know about my friends over at the Wellness Company. We got that thing queued up. The Wellness Company, I love them. I have used this pack right here. I've used this. Let me tell you what's in it. There are 5 prescriptions in here, things that you might need on the regular. Things like amoxicillin, things like a generic Z-Pack, when you get the sniffles and the fever and you wake up in the middle of the night with the chills, or maybe you got the nausea because you had the day-old sushi from the grocery store. Either way, the wellness company has you covered. It's too late at night to go to the Walgreens and hit the pharmacy, or maybe there's a shortage somewhere. You can go to TWC.health/Chad. Get your wellness kit, get your radiation kit, God forbid, get your contagion kit, get your emergency field and medical kit, all these things. You can even get a travel kit and a children's kit. Get everything they got. If you use promo code Prather, they will save you some money and give you free shipping. So check them out, TWC.health/Chad. Welcome to the show, the man with the dreamy eyes and the sexy, sexy beard. I don't mind saying it. I'm comfortable. No, Obama. I'm comfortable in my own heterosexuality. Everybody's favorite producer, Royce, is in your house.
I am here. That's the first time. Not even my wife has said that about my beard, but
dude, I just call it the way it is. I just call it the way it is, man. I am comfortable. I'm comfortable in my masculinity. I can tell you that beard's looking good on you. You got that little tight, little sharp jawline.
Actually, I got a trim under the neck, but yeah.
I was looking at mine. I need to throw a little just for men under here. See, you have yours because it looks good. I have mine because without it, I look like a thumb in a cowboy hat. So I have to have a little definition of because the older I get I'm 52 years old. I got the neck gullet. I got the turkey waddle going on.
I'm still waiting for you to commit and just get that real nice,
long
southern beard.
I've gotten it as long as I can get it, which is pretty shaggy.
You've done it?
And
you got to send me a photo, man.
I'll send you a picture of it. You won't believe it. It was I can grow a pretty full beard, but I probably need to give myself some testosterone shots or something like that because I got to get something going inside of me again. But which sounds dirty, but it's not. I have had a pretty full beard. I've had a pretty full beard, but it grows in. It wants to grow in pretty. Gray. Uh-oh, do we freeze up over there? There we go. We come back. Oh, man, the chat blows everything up, and I love it. Oh, let's throw that. I just sent you this picture, man. You would think people would learn from California about doing things, making decisions based off of a little fish in a lake. I just ran across this. This is K-Star News. New portion of the southern Arizona border wall. It's going to further endanger a rare desert fish. Now, I don't know how many fish are in the desert.
I was about to ask.
This is where we are, where human life and American safety takes second fiddle, second chair, second seat, the back row to a fish. I mean, of all things, California should have been a lesson for everybody that we're not going to put people in danger over the life of a fish. It's a fish, for crying out loud. It is a fish. I want everybody to think about this. Most of you women out there, they're like, oh, protect the fish. You wouldn't even take one off a hook if you caught it. You don't even want to, I don't want to touch a fish. Oh, it's gross. It's icky. Yes, they're icky. So we're not going to endanger human life over a fish. But the climate alarmists, the environmental cultists, they will do everything they can to make sure that you feel guilty for protecting our land with a border wall in Arizona. Arizona's problematic, dude. Katie Hobbs, the governor over there, Arizona's a beautiful state. Again, ruined by bureaucracy with these wild-eyed, crazy nut jobs. I mean, Katie Hobbs has said she's going to continue to be a sanctuary state. Somebody asked me about that yesterday. I think it was Party Foul Steve. We were smoking a cigar yesterday afternoon at our favorite little spot, and we were talking about that. And I just said, you know what you do? You just tell every illegal, hey, you want to stick around in America? Everybody goes to Arizona. And see how fast they change their tune on that deal.
Katie, that's what they started doing to like New York and stuff. They just started sending people to these sanctuary cities. Yeah. Before you knew it, they're like, whoa, we got to stop this. This is out of control. This is not what it's exactly what you asked for. It's exactly what you were promoting. I don't see why we don't, like you're saying, do the exact same thing to these states and governors that are refusing to abide by Trump's agenda.
It's like a Toyota commercial. You want it, you got it. Toyota, you want it? You got it. Sanctuary. Send them down there. It opens their eyes real fast. San Diego County last year ran out of money. They ran out of money. They were literally pulling the buses up to the curb, and people were just running out because they were like, we can't take anymore. Last year, we found people from Colorado down on the southern border that were handing out pamphlets to people coming across the border saying, you can go anywhere you want in America, but don't go to Denver. You don't want to go to Denver. Denver's full. So people from Colorado, and remember, Denver was a sanctuary city. They were saying you can't go down to Denver. So but whatever. We're gonna do all of it for a fish. Hit like, hit share, hit subscribe. All right, let's jump into a couple of things here. It's going down, dude. You want to talk about illegals? And by the way, it's also another thing that's happened this week is they've changed the phrase from migrants and immigrants to illegals. I mean, just back, you're okay to say that. So it's going down in Boston, bro. We saw it happening in various parts around the country, but it's going down in Boston. They are hauling people out of here. And this young fella right here, he's from Haiti. Oh, he just looks happy. He says, I'm not going back to Haiti. It looks to me like you are, sir. He was basically saying, F Trump, Biden forever. That should tell you right there who opened up the borders. And I don't know if you guys have thought about this. I've said it numerous times. You can't walk to the American southern border from Haiti. It's not a walkable, like Haiti is an island. It's an island. You can't walk there. All of these, quote, refugees went to South America after all of the stuff happened, and then the Clinton Foundation came in there and screwed them all out of the billions of dollars. These people wound up in South America. They brought them there with the express intent of eventually them migrating north up into America. You know, these folks walked all the way through. I mean, the plight is incredible. I mean, you got to hand it to them. I mean, they meant to get here. So no wonder he's like, I'm not going back to Haiti. I've been to Haiti. I don't want to go back to Haiti either. And I'm sure that whatever's going on in Haiti, it does not provide a warm welcome for this gentleman to make it back. If he goes back, he's probably got his life in danger on this. So he's shouting, I'm not going back to Haiti. It's amazing that now you have ICE, you have Border Patrol, you have the DEA, the ATF, and you have the federal marshals all have deportation authority now. Tom Homan has said, listen, if I have to deputize every American citizen out there, then that's what we're going to do. But we're going to round these people up and we're going to get rid of them. So 470 arrests just in the last couple of days. I know that's a drop in the bucket compared to the probably 20 million that are out there. And there's even been speculation of offering basically a bounty, $1,000 for reporting an illegal. Let's say you got one down the street and you're like, they're not here legally. Royce, would you put you on the spot? Would you take $1,000 to report somebody that's here illegally?
Oh, 100%. 100%. They're getting reported. Yeah. I would do it for free. Probably if it happened and I knew it was happening, I'm just going to do it. It also should be, again, we go back to this analogy a lot, but if someone broke into your house and was putting you and your family and others around you in danger, you're not going to sit there and wait and be like, you going to give me $1,000, police officer, to tell you about him? Right. No, you're going to kick that dude out. You're going to fight for your life. And I think that that's the common sense thing to do. And again, going back to this whole fish argument thing, how pathetic is it when our congressmen and senators are literally trying to protect a fish over the people that are coming in and raping and murdering our children, our citizens. I love what Trump said at his inauguration. He said 2 words, America first. Like, that's his whole thing. That's all that he's going to do. Everything that he has planned is for America first, and that includes sending these people back home from where they came from because they are illegally here, they are dangerous, and there is nothing, especially not a fish, that should stop us from getting these dangerous people out of our country. And I'm not saying that they're all dangerous, but when the people who are coming in are committing dangerous crimes, you get them all out because it's going to be too hard to sift through the ones. They have a home. They have a place that they came from. Send them back there. And regardless, okay, dangerous or not, if you are here illegally, that word illegal means something. And so you got to get out. You're not going to be here illegally. Come in the right way, and we'll treat you the right way. Don't break into our house.
I mean, this is a daunting task. This is a daunting task to round these people up. So they're like, listen, we're going to be all hands on deck. We're going to try to figure this thing out. And the fact that it became a hate speech or considered hate speech to say America first, that right there is very telling. What else am I going to say? Denmark first? Which, by the way, Denmark, one of their governors, one of their officials came out today and said, Trump can F off, that they've had Greenland for 800 years. You saw that. So I'm like, oh, so you're telling me there's a chance. I mean, the fact that you're so angry about it, maybe
they're obviously scared. They're obviously scared, that it's going to happen.
But, this, our friend Colin Rugg is the one who posted this particular clip that you put up there of the guy who was in the, and you guys can go over there and watch it. It's a 5-minute long clip. We don't need to. Do you want to play the very beginning of that?
Sure.
Let's play the very beginning of it. But I thought it was so funny because there were people on there who said, I stand with this Haitian. And Colin said, I'm pretty sure if you were with them, they'd assault you. So... I can't say. Right. I mean, this guy looks like he's ready to do some violence. So let's see a little bit of it.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston quickly takes down.
I'm going to pause it really quick. When someone like that with 17 convictions, gang member, is thanking Obama and thanking Joe Biden, that's a very clear line as to who's on the right side. The correct side, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I would say, as a Haitian, he's picked up the language pretty well. I want to thank Obama for everything he's done for me, bro. I'd say he's picked up on the language, but he's a gang member. 17 convictions. Mm-hmm. Why is he? I mean, why is he out on the streets? But I mean, again, that's the nature of our justice system these days. Is absolutely insane. And I mean, you got to go, buddy. You got to go. Play a little bit more of it.
On its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. Brazil. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction.
Señor, ¿cómo se llama?
And this Dominican illegal alien charged with assault with a deadly weapon and heroin trafficking. Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies.
All right, stop.
And in a sign of shifting...
It ought to make you want to vomit. If you can find the vomit emoji, put it in the chat. I mean, it makes you want to absolutely vomit. Listen to what they just said. Armed robbery, theft, heroin dealing, rape. Rape. And they're out on the street, which tells me this. It tells me this. They've known all along where these guys were. They've known where they knew how to find them. They knew where they were. They knew who these people were. They knew they were repeat offenders. They knew where to go get them. The Biden administration, these same law enforcement officers, they knew during the Biden administration, but their hands were tied. They weren't allowed to go do it. Now they've got permission to do it. I've talked with my Border Patrol friends. They are thrilled, ecstatic that now they can actually go do their jobs. They're going to actually get some support. They're going to get some people behind them, some human resources and some firepower behind them to actually shut the border down and take care of this. You saw, we showed it yesterday, of the Border Patrol agents with a show of force there in El Paso, the megaphone that were saying, you got to go back, can't come in. And then we saw yesterday afternoon, there was this mad rush towards the border by a huge group. This is what they're going to do. They're going to try to gang rush, bum rush. They're going to do everything they can to try to get in here. And it has got to be shut down, locked down. But the issue for me is they know where these people are. It's not because we keep talking about, we'll never round them up. We don't know where they are. The ones that need to go, I guarantee you they got eyes on them. They got eyes on a large portion of them, if not the majority of them. They got to go.
We can also talk about how both of the Trump attempted assassins were on the FBI watch list.
Yeah,
they were already on the radar, but nothing happened. Nothing was.
How many times does that happen? How many times does that happen? Where they say, "Oh, well, we had an issue already that we had him on a watch list. We were paying attention to this person." What was it that happened? The guy who just ran everybody down in New Orleans on New Year's morning, killed 14 people on Bourbon Street with a vehicle. They said, we were already watching what he was doing summer before last. We were already paying attention to what this guy was doing. So I hope that those days are gone. Like if you're on a watch list, I got a prank call yesterday from somebody pretending to be a U.S. Marshal trying to make contact with me, and I knew it was a prank call by what they were saying. But I took the voice message and I sent it to my actual friends that are federal marshals, and they got a good chuckle out of it. They texted me last night and said, "Man, you got the entire weight of the U.S. government coming down on you. What the hell did you do?" And they were yuck it up, boys, yuck it up. But anyway, I'm like, these guys are going to be busy for a while. These law enforcement agents, they are tracking people. That is what they do. And these folks out here, I mean, rape, and this guy's free, walking around. It's insane, dude. Insane. Pull up the next thing. We don't need to see any more of that stuff. It pisses me off, Royce.
We jumped around a little bit, so where do you want to go?
I don't know. Did we have another deal on the I know what we were gonna go to, but we just make this thing up as we go. Did we have another clip on the ICE raids there in Boston? That was happening in Boston, or was that the only one?
That was the only clip, but we do have the cartels being.
That's the one.
That's labeled the one as terrorists.
That's the one I want to go to right there. So this is interesting right here. New York Times is saying that labeling the cartels as terrorists could hurt the U.S. economy. Now. I did not read this particular article because I'm not going to pay a subscription to read the New York Times because I'm just not going to waste my money on that. But I read some other articles about this that were basically summarizing the same thing. And as this says, isolating U.S. companies from cartel activities could be almost impossible, given that the criminal group operates in sectors like agriculture and tourism. And that there's a fair point in that. In that you're talking about everybody that is in business in Mexico. They may not be running drugs, running guns, running humans, but they're still part of a cartel. The cartel is a cooperative. It's a connection. It's a network. And the people who are, whether they're business leaders or whatever they may be cartel members. And so everything is connected, including every person that's in a political position in Mexico. They were approved, if not placed, by cartels, okay? So you have this weird fine line that's out there of who's connected, and the question is not who's connected, it's how they're connected. And trust me, at some point, it's like you having a third cousin second removed that you are ashamed that you kissed in the 8th grade, but yet you excused it because you weren't that close. They're all kissing cousins down there. Everybody's connected in some way, shape, or form. Now, what's specifically about this, and here's what they're not telling you with the articles like this, because they're saying, well, if you get into a cartel that's about tourism and agriculture, well, that's going to hurt people taking their trips down to Cabo. This is not what we're talking about. This is not what the Trump administration is talking about. You're not talking about going after businesses, not talking about these types of things. He's talking about transnational narco cartel terrorists. Transnational narco terrorists. These are people who, just like the fact that in our United States we can track down people who are rapists and heroin dealers and stuff like that are here illegally. We can also tell, we have the type of intelligence of who's trafficking drugs, who's trafficking human beings, who's trafficking the fentanyl, who's allowing.
And we've had this capability to do all these things,
of course,
for a long time. And it just has not happened. And that's more sickening to me.
Yeah.
Than the fact that these people are here. Yes, they're here. There's bad people everywhere. But we have had the ability, the capability to take them down and stop so many murders, so many things from happening.
Right.
And we've just not. Or the previous administration did not enforce it or let things, the law do what it's supposed to do. It was ignored. And the consequence was our families and young ladies and all this stuff being raped and murdered and abducted and all this stuff. And Now these terrorist organizations, how are cartels not labeled terrorist? Every cartel movie, how are they, have you not seen one? How are they not already labeled a terrorist organization?
Been saying it for years. When we were on the campaign trail, when I was running for governor here in Texas in the primary, both myself, Don Huffines, Alan West, Colonel Alan West, we were all talking about how they need to be named these transnational narco-terrorists. There needs to be a corridor. I mean, if I was the president of the United States, I'd be awfully tempted to own the first 100 miles of North Mexico and make sure that our border is absolutely protected, insulated, and safe. But you say, oh, that's so mean. Well, I tell you what, hundreds of thousands of fentanyl deaths and your children dying or being trafficked, 400,000 missing children, that is what I feel sorry for. And so these articles are basically saying you're talking about mobilizing military and sending thousands of people down there. They've already mobilized 1,500. They're about to send another 10 to 15,000 down to the southern border as support. Basically, they're saying this is going to be a drain on the economy. I think that rather than sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight a proxy war so that a little dude like Volodymyr Zelensky can become a billionaire oligarch and pose with his wife on the cover of Vogue magazine and be made into some kind of pseudo-celebrity, I think that fighting our own war on our own soil against an invasion that has happened here when military-age men by the tune of millions have infiltrated our country and our society and are hiding out in our neighborhoods, assaulting our daughters and taking our own things that we could be using to house and take care of veterans. I think that that's money well spent, me personally. Now, if I want to choose where my taxpayer dollars, and it doesn't have anything to do with the color of your skin coming across, we had 165 nationalities represented at the encounters of the border each year for the last 2 years. So you're talking about Chinese nationals, you're talking about Europeans, a German immigrant, illegal is what killed a Border Patrol agent in Vermont 2 days ago, a German. Okay, so I'm saying all of them. All of them. If you're here illegally, you said it earlier, Royce, if you're here illegally, you got to go home. You got to get out of here. You can't stay here, man. It's closing time. Turn the lights on.
In the terms of the economy, let's take a look at history for a quick second. Not the near history, okay? Back in 2016 or whatever it was, Trump proposed a $5 billion bill to build a wall, okay? They said that's ridiculous. We're never spending that money. That's way too much money. That was the fight. Long story short, we've spent hundreds of billions housing these illegals that have came in and wrecked our country. Hundreds of billions, okay? Letting them in, just letting them in. And now a bill, the Lake and Riley Act, well, I mean, there's a clip of AOC out there arguing the fact that it's like $87 billion now to reverse everything that has been done and fix it. And she's like, why are we spending this money on this? Why are we doing that? If we would have spent the $5 billion 8 years ago in the first place, we would never have spent the hundreds of billions letting them in and housing them. And now the 80-something billion or whatever to reverse the issues that the Democrat Party has created.
Yeah.
And they were arguing that $5 billion was too much back then, and now $87 billion is too much to undo what they've done. It's unbelievable, and it's hypocritical at the same time.
I've been saying it nonstop. That $5 billion, you could have blown that out of your nose back then. I mean, we had that, and they were like, "Oh, that's pocket change." They made it like it was all the money in the world. They were fighting Trump because it was so racist for him to have either a travel ban or from Muslim countries. By the way, he didn't just have a travel ban. It was from terrorist countries that Muslim countries that were on a terror watch list. So he had a travel ban on that. They called it racist. He didn't just have a Muslim ban. It was from terrorist countries. And then he had the wanting to build the wall. The wall was the most racist thing in the world until it wasn't, because the liberals said, okay, what are we going to do here? I mean, I say you need to have drones. You need to have ground sensors. I think there needs to be a corridor. I talk about the 1,221 miles of South Texas that borders Mexico. We need to have about 10 miles from the border north that is basically a zone where it is constantly patrolled. So what would happen is, what is happening as consistently as possible is, my friend, the sheriff of Valverde County, which is Del Rio, Texas, my friend, he's a Democrat, Joe Frank Martinez. Those of you in South Texas know Joe Frank. He's a good man. He's a great man. He's done a great job for Valverde County. He told me himself in his office a couple of years ago, he said, I didn't vote for Trump. I don't like Trump. But when Trump was in office the first time, we had this under control. He said, I voted for Biden. I'm a Democrat. He said, but this thing is out of control. So they were coming across the border at Eagle Pass, coming across the border in Valverde County, and they were immediately heading up to just a county just north of there where there is a rail terminal, rail crossway, loading area, and they were jumping on the trains and they were heading into San Antonio, and poof, they were in the wind. And so that's why they were coming across right there. There was easy transportation into the interior of the country, and you didn't know who was coming, why they were coming. I mean, at one point in time, Sheriff Martinez down there in Del Rio, when I was talking to him, he said in our detention center, because of the COVID stipulations, he said, we have 2 women in the female detention center. He said, we have thousands we need to detain. He said, but there's 2 women because they both have COVID. You tell me how that makes any dadgum sense. It doesn't. And we're willing to put our own safety in jeopardy over stuff like this. $5 billion, we could have blown that out of our nose. Now, hundreds of billions later, we're throwing all this money to protect the border of Ukraine. We've talked about this ad nauseum. And here we go. It's here, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. So I'd say that the United States, President Trump, whatever resources that are at our command, let's let it go. And screw the New York Times. I don't care what they have to say with their woke-ass nonsense. Let us do the thing that we need to do to get the job done. And it sounds to me like Tom Homan is – Tom Homan's a guy who knows how to get the job done. And he ain't worried about your political correctness or, making you feel good about yourself. And then you had, what's her name, the honorable congresswoman from Minnesota. Do we still have that clip of Rashida Tlaib?
I didn't realize she was from Minnesota.
I think she's from Wisconsin. I don't know. She's from Michigan. She's from Michigan, right? This is
yeah.
Michigan, yeah. So I had it close with Minnesota. It's all cold up there. I know that. Yeah,
it's Michigan. In the cold region.
I'm a reasonably intelligent person sometimes, but I got to get up early to do Graham's show these days. But this is what she said. We shared it this morning on Dear America. This is the logic that she's using. Listen to this ignorance.
Enough is enough. It will separate families. It would lead again to continued discrimination. It's shameful that my colleagues are giving in to racist fear-mongering at the first opportunity to pass legislation to scapegoat our immigrant neighbors and fuel hate in our communities. I know what's going to happen. It won't just be undocumented. It'll be people like my mother who will get stopped and profiled. She have to carry her U.S. passport around? Are we asking people now to have documentation?
Yes.
That's what you want to turn our neighborhoods into, is militarization?
I yield the gentlelady an additional 30 seconds.
Well, you see the beta soy boy back there behind her with his mask on. Tells you everything you need to know. Yes, we are asking you to have documentation. Actually, that you are supposed to have some kind of documentation on you, regardless of how Americans believe about its constitutionality or not. There's this thing called a driver's license. I personally keep a passport with me at all times because I never know when I need to leave the country. I wish I was kidding, but it's true.
Also,
I literally was looking at flights today thinking about getting out of here. But you never know when you got to run, baby. She's know.
She's talking as if her mother was found on the street without ID, that the police would pull out a giant slingshot and shoot her back to where she came from. That's not what's going on here. If you're caught without an ID, if I get pulled over and I don't have an ID, that's an issue, but they're going to figure out who I am. If you're caught without an ID and you might be an illegal immigrant, they're going to figure out who you are. That's just the bottom line. Yeah. But it is good practice, like you just said, have your ID. Every American should have their ID. If you're a legal citizen, have your ID. And if you're not, if you're an illegal, I don't even know how to say this, an illegal immigrant, not because you're not a citizen if you're illegal, right? You can't be an illegal citizen. If you are an illegal immigrant, and you don't have your ID, then you're getting kicked out. If you are legal and you're an immigrant, this is getting complicated, I know. If you are legal and you're an immigrant and you don't have your ID, well, guess what? They're still going to find out who you are and find out that you are legal. You have nothing to hide.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, we got to get to a point where, is her mother legal? That's the question. Is she worried about it? Is her mother legal? Is it going to increase? When Greg Abbott, the governor here in Texas, was saying, "Hey, we're going to start enabling the Texas Highway Patrol and these folks and DPS. Are we going to let these officers start pulling over cars that are packed full of people so we can see who's here illegally? You know what? When you've been invaded, you have to try to figure out who's here legally and who's not here legally, and so." We got to figure it out some way. If that's profiling, well, we're sort of in a crisis here. We're sort of in an emergency, and we sort of need to figure this thing out. So how do you want to do it? Because we're not taking blood samples. of these people. Yeah, I mean, Party Foul Steve said he likes profiling. And again, I don't walk down the street wondering, and trust me, I live in Texas, so I live in South Texas, for crying out loud. I don't walk down the street saying, I wonder if that person's legal or illegal. I pretty much can already tell. I can pretty much already tell who around here, just because I've been to those countries, I've been to those places, I've spent extended time in a lot of places, and I can identify certain people. Am I profiling? Am I discriminating? No. But again, maybe I need to call them in, get that $1,000.
That $1,000, man.
I'd do it for a can of Coke. And I do mean Coca-Cola. They might have the other kind on them. I don't know. There I am profiling again. All right, let's talk about... All right, before we go any further, I want you to check out our friends over at Patriot Mobile. Let's support patriotic companies, people that love your Constitution, love your values, love the Bill of Rights, love your First Amendment, Second Amendment rights, and believe in the sanctity of life. PatriotMobile.com is exactly that country. They make sure that they are building their business with you and your values in mind. You can check them out at PatriotMobile.com/Chad. If you say you believe in the parallel economies out there, well, here you go. Stop spending your money with the big three that send a portion of your hard-earned money every time you pay your bill to these leftist crazy causes like Planned Parenthood and such. So get over there and visit patriotmobile.com/Chad. See what their offers are. If you use promo code Chad, they'll give you some free activation. They'll also give free activation to our veterans, our first responder heroes, and our active duty military. They got a plan that'll fit your family's budget. I promise you they do. And they will give you a new phone and a new number, or they'll switch all your stuff over to your existing phone, whatever you need to do. You can also call them. Their U.S.-based customer service team will help you out at 972-PATRIOT, 972-PATRIOT. But visit them at patriotmobile.com/Chad. Let's talk about somebody else that pisses me off. That's John Brennan. John Brennan, the former director of the CIA. Hang on, I've been turning in illegals. I got to take a drink of this Coke they gave me. It tastes like $1,000 a head. You guys in the chat are cracking me up. John Brennan. So if you remember, there were those 51 agents who were revoked of their security clearance by Donald Trump because of them hiding the fact that the Hunter Biden laptop story was true. It was, they said, listen. They said you can't run with that. If you said anything about it on social media, you got a ban. You couldn't talk about it. You couldn't say a word because the government told social media. They said you can't run with this. So that's why Zuckerberg was a piece of garbage back then in the 2020 election, because he wouldn't let this Hunter Biden laptop story get loose on his social media platform. It happened across the mainstream media as well. So John Brennan, who's a former CIA director, who's just an absolute piece of excrement, he said Trump misrepresented the facts in that executive order because it said that we had suggested that the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation. He said, no, we said it was the hallmarks of Russian information. So he didn't tell you what the hallmarks were. And I want you to hear this clip, because basically what he's going to tell you, and this is CIA bureaucratic governmental doublespeak that is just a bunch of pablum to make you confused. He doesn't tell you what the hallmarks of Russian information are. What he's going to do is, we didn't use the language Trump accused us of. We just made sure to use language that we could skirt around to make you think we were using the language we were accused of using. You confused yet? Well, listen to this fool.
Yeah, he said in 2018 that he was going to take my security clearance. My security clearances were never taken at that time. And the only reason why I still had a security clearance, as I have for the past number of years since I left government service, was for the benefit of the government, so that if the CIA or another government agency wanted to call me in to discuss a classified matter, they could do that. And so it was really for the government's benefit. It would facilitate those classified discussions with myself, as well as with former directors, as well as other former members of the intelligence community that had those clearances. So again, yesterday's EO is a bizarre, among many of the bizarre executive orders orders that he had signed out. And as you point out, he misrepresented the facts in that executive order because it said that we had suggested that the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation. No, we said it was for the hallmarks of Russian information operations, including the dumping of accurate information, which is what we said in that letter. So again, this was just, his effort to try to get back at those individuals who have criticized him openly and publicly in the past. And
you know how to tell a good lie is sprinkle truth into it. Sprinkle truth into it, so it makes it more believable. The more details you can use, the more believable it is as well. And so basically what he was saying is it had the hallmarks of a Russian information operation. We didn't want to say it was misinformation because most of it was true. We just wouldn't want you to believe that it was true. So we said, no, don't run with that. And you're actually going to be penalized if you talk about it. I was penalized. Where's my pictures, party foul? Where's my picture? Everybody hold still. I'm going to bend over. Don't look at me. Here it is.
Oh, no.
Here it is. This picture right here. If I posted this picture, I painted it. This is Hunter. This is that iconic deal in his tighty-whitey Fruit of the Looms and his sneakers, his Adidas, and his red scarf and his Ray-Bans. I painted this. You know why I painted it? Because I couldn't post this picture. If I posted this picture, it was weird when I was painting this part. It just felt weird to me. It felt weird to me. But it's weird to paint a bulge. But I was like, if I posted this, I got 30 days banned because they said, no, that's a fake picture. That's not real. It didn't really come off of Hunter Biden's laptop. So I painted this picture because I'm weird. And also so I could put this out there and I could say, well, you can't ban this because I painted it. This is my creation. And to prove the point a couple of years ago that I could put this out there, even though you were telling me that it had the hallmarks of Russian information operations, which is a bunch of crap by a piece of garbage bureaucrat that paraded around as the director of the CIA named John Brennan.
It's actually hilarious that worked.
It worked.
That works. That's hilarious.
It worked. I could paint the picture and put that out there, but I couldn't post the actual picture of the cretin, which is Hunter Biden in his underwear, high as a kite on crack. The dude who literally said in an ABC interview that he was so desperate to get cocaine and crack in himself that he was snorting spilled Parmesan cheese into carpet. So tell me that wasn't election interference on the part of our government agencies. And revoke. Those 51 agents do not need to have a way to get into. It's just so stupid, dude. And again, I go back to 2017 when all of my social media accounts got throttled on Facebook, especially because of the Cambridge Analytica nonsense, the Russian hoax, and you trying to tell me that Donald Trump won the election in 2016 because some Russian people ran $400,000 in Facebook ads. I run ads every week because I'm trying to get people to come to my shows. I'll be in Austin, Waco, and Granbury next week. I try to get people to come to my shows all the time. If I could spend that kind of money and get that kind of effectiveness out of a Facebook ad, I'd be off to the races. I need somebody to teach me how to run Facebook ads, apparently. Oh, man. I need to paint more Hunter Biden pictures, I guess. Hang on. Let me show you. For those of you new to the show, we also painted this one.
Beautiful painting.
Look, I mean, you can catch the angst in the eyes. Oh, this is the sleepless nights and the cigarettes smoked. Oh, boy. Party Foul Steve said I should paint the hookers. No. No. Tomorrow is the National March for Life. I was supposed to be in D.C. all this week. I'm here holding down the fort while Graham and Royce were up there partying and playing. I stuck around down here, and plus I didn't want to get out there because I felt like the inauguration day was going to be pretty secure and safe in D.C. But tomorrow I'm praying for the marchers. There'll be a lot of people out there on the National Mall marching in solidarity together in the fight for life. I'm a pro-life guy. I got into being an outspoken person in the conservative movement because of my belief of the sanctity of life. I believe life begins at conception, as I know most of you do. I believe that an abortion is not an abortion, it's a murder, it's the taking of a life. I believe that the most significant thing we can do as human beings is give a voice to the voiceless. The most innocent among us are those that cannot speak for themselves. and no more vulnerable than the unborn. And so we just saw that the longtime CEO of Planned Parenthood, who oversaw roughly 67 million abortions, just passed away. I hope she went where I think she didn't, but she's gone. And so this is a horrible, horrible deal. Today is the Life and Death Convention. My friend Seth Gruber, who you need to be following him, check out his podcast, read the 1916 Project, and how Planned Parenthood was established specifically as the most racist organization that's ever existed in human history for the purpose of genocide against the black race. Its founder, Margaret Sanger, who Planned Parenthood has now officially disavowed. It just took them, 75 years to do that. But the White Rose Society has their convention today. A lot of our friends are there. Eric Metaxas, Allie Beth Stuckey, Seth Gruber, and numerous others. I was supposed to be there today. And then a March for Life tomorrow. I'm praying because I think that the safety could be an issue tomorrow. But I believe in what they're doing. I believe significantly in what they're doing. I stand boldly. When I was a student at the University of Georgia, I wrote quite prolifically for the Red and Black newspaper, which was the campus paper. Specifically, most of my articles were written about the sanctity of life and how we are living in a world and a country destined for judgment and the removal of God's providential and protective hand because we keep taking innocent life in the name of abortion. The opposite of pro-life is pro-death. It is not pro-choice. But there has been a piece of legislation that was voted down. This turns my stomach to know how many Democrats voted against this. Pop it up there, Royce. This is the story. Unbelievable, according to Kristen Hawkins on X. Senate Democrats unanimously blocked the Born Alive Survivors Protection Act, which would protect babies who are born alive after a failed abortion. A living, breathing baby. They voted for infanticide. There's truly no level of evil greater than this. I have to agree. I believe that even though Donald Trump did not, as a platform policy, and the RNC as a platform policy did not come out and specifically state a national abortion ban, they put it in the hands of the states. I think we're about to see one of the most pro-life presidents that we've ever witnessed in our lifetime. I really do believe that. I think the fight for life is going to, and here's why I say that. We're going to have more liberty to do this fight because in recent years, just protesting outside of a Planned Parenthood could get you arrested, could get you imprisoned, could get you, just take you away from your family. And this is a beautiful thing. The pardons we know about from January 6th, we've been praying about and asking for pardons to be extended to those who are imprisoned for protesting in the name of life. It has happened. Pop this up there. There's a group of people who have been released. I think there's more that need to come. But Trump is expected to pardon 10 pro-life activists persecuted by the Biden DOJ, imprisoned under the FACE Act. So you see the names that are there. Some of these, like Lauren Handy, 57 months in prison. That's a lot of years, man. Bevelyn Williams, 41 months. You see these people. These aren't people who were bombing buildings, man. These aren't people who were throwing cement cups in people's heads. These aren't people who were setting their cities on fire. In most cases, these were people who were praying. These were people, and this, by the way, this is a tweet by our friend Charlie Kirk. You can go check it out for yourself, read the comments underneath it. But tomorrow is the 52nd annual March for Life in D.C. I want you to agree with me to pray for those who are out there in protest peacefully, that they will have the opportunity to have their voices heard. And this to me is one of the most important things, because if you can't protect human life, I mean, they would spend trillions of dollars if they could. If they found some living cells on Mars, they would stop everything they could do. They would do all they could to get to Mars and collect samples, and they would fight to protect those living cells, whatever it was. And I'm telling you, the fact that they redefine human life as a clump of cells or some form of a protoplasmic blob, This is why we have these gender issues, identity issues. This is why we have school shootings. I don't care who wants to argue with me on this. We have devalued life in the womb. We have taken away the image of God from the most precious among us and the sense of identity that comes from being created in his image. The fact that we devalue in the womb a human life leads to all sorts of atrocities in our society. This is why people run over people in the street. This is why people blow each other up. This is why we had a school shooting, because the devaluation of life. This is why there are so many suicides. This is why there are mental illnesses. We've been taught that you're nothing more than the product of time plus slime, and you're a protoplasmic blob. You're just a clump of cells, and I'm sorry, you're not. You were made in the image of Almighty God, and it's time we get back to that hallowed, sacred, holy image of ourselves, because that's what God breathed into Adam when he said, I'm going to put in you the Kaye Nefesh, the life soul. God literally breathed breath into a lump of clay, and it became Adam. And Adam was the progenitor of the human race, and all of us now carry that life of God inside of us, man. It is an amazing thing, the human body. I mean, it's an amazing thing, but not only that, the fact that God put his spirit inside of you, created you on purpose, man. Royce, I'm passionate about it, dude. I'm passionate.
too.
I'm passionate about it. I know you are, man. And so I'm happy that these 10 have been released. There's more that need to be released. And regardless of where you come down on the abortion controversy, here and people always go to the extremes, and I know this goes without saying. I don't have to say it, but I'm gonna say it because I want to say it. People say, well, what if your 13-year-old was raped by you don't stop going to all the extremes. 98% of the abortions performed in this country are in the name of birth control. They're done for the sake of convenience, man. We are sacrificing a generation, and have since 1972, on the altar of convenience, dude. We are literally placing our babies on the hands of Moloch and sacrificing them. And no more. My sweet niece, Riley, she was born when she's my great niece. My niece was 16 years old. My friend James Robinson, many of you know, James Robinson, evangelist and host of Life Today. He was the product of rape. James, I talked to him on the phone the other day. I said, how you doing, James? He said, I'm 82 years old. How you think I'm doing? But you know what? God's used him in such a powerful way, and he was the product of rape. And you just don't take away the significance of life because of the way that life began. You don't do it, folks. You don't do it. So here we are. Here we are, man. What else we got, Royce? What do we?
Let me see if there's anything
Throw
else.
it up there. I promise you, I'm gonna start making a list of the things that I send you so that I'll know. But I just kind of like
JFK files.
Floating through it, you know. What do you got?
JFK files.
Oh, the JFK files. Trump says he's going to release them. I don't think people are going to be as shocked. Our good friend Gunther Eagleman, he released this. Trump's going to be releasing the JFK files. I want the UFO files. I want the MLK files. I want all the assassination stuff. I want all of it.
The MLK, it's all a big, all of these, JFK, MLK, the conspiracies behind them are so incredibly interesting and bizarre at the same time. Like the letters that the FBI sent to MLK and all the involvement with JFK and the recordings, why they wanted him quiet. It's all super, revealing as to how our government has been treating the American people for so long. And that's exactly why that they haven't been released in the past.
Yeah.
And I think Trump is ready to shine some light on all these things and drain the swamp and let's glass door our own government. I don't know why it should be in the first place, but let's glass door this sucker.
Yeah.
Because we're the ones paying the taxes. We're the ones in charge, man. Or at least that's how it should be. And they're just we put our trust in them. But they shouldn't be puppeteering this stuff around us.
Yeah. Of course, Trump said that he was going to release it in his first term, but Mike Pompeo said, don't do it. Why? Why not do it? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I don't care what Mike Pompeo has to say. Let's just do it. I think what you're going to learn is basically what you already assume and what you think you know is probably going to be true. And I think you're going to find out that the government knew all along what was going on. And you're going to find that there might have been some government involvement there, at least in terms of them not intervening in what they knew that was about to happen. So that's what's going to be a little telling there. But I doubt you're going to see some huge grand conspiracy in terms of how many moving parts were involved. That's just my prediction. That's my prediction. Now, the UFO files, that's a whole other story. It's a whole other story. You know, the late great comedian and actor Jackie Gleason said that he visited Richard Nixon in Florida. And Nixon drove him to the freezers to show him the aliens' bodies. I want to see those aliens' bodies, man. Especially if they look like Kate Upton. Like, you don't know. I mean, we could have like a whole planet of Amazon women out there that have a thing for middle-aged, late in life, turkey waddle, neck gullet, bald-headed men who shave their heads. It's starting to grow back a little bit, Royce, but it can't grow back so much. Nah, I don't know. You know, I'm weird, dude.
Well, if you want to attract those Kate Upton aliens, you might want to look like, you know, shave the head. You know,
yeah, if there's some Kate Upton, if there's a planet of Kate Uptons up there, or Gal Gadots. I mean, there might be a whole planet of Gal Gadots, Wonder Women up there, and maybe they like dudes that, you know, sort of chubby in the middle. Like, I got a dad bod, and I'm just embraced it. Like, you know how you know when you're fat, Royce? You're too young to know this, but you get to a point where you say to people, and you're like, you know, man, I'm fat. And the people that say they love you, they just don't respond. That's when you know you're fat. that's when you know. And, you know, I got a dad bod and hair on my back. I was walking past the mirror before I came up here to tape with you, and I saw in the light there was like some hair sticking off the back of my neck. So I grabbed the razor and just hit it real quick. And there's no telling, dude. You just hit a point where you don't care anymore. It's just, for me, it's about the remote control and DoorDash. That's what I'm living for. That's what I'm living for, Royce. That's where I'm at. It's about, you know, I just sit there and I need to, like right now I'm thinking about I need to go change the batteries in my garage door opener. These are the things that occupy my time. You know, these are the things. Party Foul Steve and I, we got off of here yesterday. We went and smoked a cigar. And we solved all the world's problems. And it was like, you know, that's what we do. Nobody wants to love this. There's no woman out there that wants to love this.
That's not true. But it sounds like a grandfather lifestyle that you're living.
Say that again, Party Foul.
Grandpappy. You got like the grandpappy lifestyle.
Yeah, that's the whole deal. That's the whole deal, man. It's just, you know, sit around and just watch the leaves turn on the trees, man. I sat there yesterday and watched the snow melt on the roof and watched it drip off. And here we are. Another day is gone. Another day is gone. It's not that bad. It's not too bad. I live a pretty good life. I think I'm going to go down and watch the snow melt at the beach tonight. Go down to Galveston. See if the water's still muddy in the Gulf of America. I like it.
Go watch snow melt. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I wish people
gonna watch grass grow and paint dry too.
Yeah. It's cool. We live a blessed life, man. I live on the road. As people know, I've been on the road for 10 years. I've traveled all over the country. Every weekend I'm somewhere. And we're off this week because we were supposed to be in D.C. Next week I will be in, I've said it, Austin, Waco, and Granbury. Thursday, Friday, Saturday night I'm calling it the I-35 tour running up through Texas. And so get your tickets at watchchad.com. Come hang out with me. I got a lot of shows coming up this year and being very selective about where we go. So catch me while you can.
Whoa, is this breaking news? Did Pete Hegseth just get confirmed?
Let's see. Did Pete? Let's see. Did it happen? Pete got the votes. Pete got the votes. Did he get them? Let's see. Royce, if you got it, let's do it, baby. Let's break that news right now. I'm going to jump over here. You guys keep on hanging out in the chat. I don't have any. I know, you know, Graham makes like $1 billion a day on Super Chats.
John Ratcliffe was just confirmed.
Ratcliffe was just confirmed.
That was like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. Let's go to X. Steve over there talking to himself. He thinks I can hear him, but I can't. Let's see. The FBI raids an immigration lawyer's office in Providence, Rhode Island. That's interesting. Ilhan Omar is seeking a repeal of the 1798. Let's see. There's still nothing is on X just yet. Nothing just yet.
I've seen, breaking Pete Hegseth has the 51 votes necessary to clear the final confirmation. So it's not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
But it's he has the votes. But John Ratcliffe was just confirmed officially. Like, that's done.
And Pam Bondi, no, that's yesterday. So there we are.
We're getting close, man. Well, it's good. That's a good step with John Ratcliffe. And I'm sure that it sounds like maybe tonight we'll know on Pete, and that's exciting.
Who was that? Oh, Lisa Murkowski. We already knew that. Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Mitch McConnell all said they wouldn't vote for Pete. We'll see, but he's going to get it. He's going to get it, baby. All right, guys. I don't think we had any super chats. I don't make any money off super chats.
Let me check.
Nobody ever wants to talk to me.
Sorry, we had a brief pause there for that.
Yeah.
Potential breaking news.
How many
Any
people we
super
got
chats?
watching
We got
the show right now?
one super chat. 4,700 people watching the show.
So we got 4,600 people watching the show. Should be 10,000. I think that we need to be having about 10,000 on here. This is a weird time of day that we do this show. It's kind of hard. I've been asking Rumble to make us an editor's pick, like Graham shows an editor's pick. I emailed him again this morning. A lot of my friends like Dave Rubin have encouraged Rumble, said, hey, make Chad put him out there, and they don't do it because I'm kind of new to Rumble. All right, a White Rose effort against abortion that my local Knights of Columbus did stopped me from committing suicide when I was pregnant at 18. These efforts make a difference. My difference is 24 now. Mamoose, wow. I love stories like that. They make me cry. My niece, she was walking into a Planned Parenthood, and a gentleman stopped her on the street and said, would you like to see your baby? Took her across to a crisis pregnancy center and showed her a sonogram. And our dear Riley, she is off living on her own now and living her life. She's an adult too, and it's just a precious thing, man.
It's beautiful.
God doesn't make mistakes. I'm telling you, there's no such thing as an accident in this life, and that certainly is true when it comes to human life. So, man, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. All right, guys, watchchad.com is where all the fun stuff is. You can get over on X and follow me, as well as Instagram at WatchChad, and, of course, follow Royce.
At Royce Chamberlain.
At Royce Chamberlain.
Check me out.
Man, we got so many things going on, Royce. Yesterday was a stressful day. I feel much better today.
Good.
There was a lot going on. I know you got a lot on your plate, too. And boy, howdy. All right, going to get off of here. I got to go jump on a Zoom call so I can find more things to sell you guys. What's that? Did we get another super chat there? Here's a you, Chad. Tell us a joke. Oh, 520 homegirl. Let's see. Oh, the pressure of a joke. Pressure of a joke.
You got it. I'm ready for it. We need to start doing a joke of the day, actually.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not really a joke teller as a comedian. I'll tell you an oldie but a goodie. Bubba and Dwayne were going to get their GED, and because they dropped out of high school. And so Bubba said, well, what do we got to do? Dwayne says, I'll go down and talk to the guidance counselor. Goes down there, and the guidance counselor says, well, Dwayne, to get your GED, you got to pass 3 tests, 1 in math, 1 in history, and 1 in logic. And Dwayne says, well, I understand math and I understand history, but what's logic? And the guidance counselor says, well, let me see if I can explain it to you like this. He said, Dwayne, do you have a weed eater? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, if you got a weed eater, then you got a lawnmower. So that's true. He said, well, if you got a lawnmower, you got a lawn. And if you got a lawn, you got a house. If you got a house, logic tells me you probably got a family. And if you got a family, logic tells me that you have a wife. And if you have a wife, then it tells me that you are a heterosexual. And Dwayne goes, wow, that's incredible. That's logic. So he goes back, and Bubba says, Dwayne, what do we got to do to get a GED? Dwayne says, well, Bubba, we got to pass 3 tests, 1 in math, history, and logic. And Bubba says, well, I understand math and history, but what's logic? And Dwayne says, well, let me put it to you like this, Bubba. Do you have a weed eater? Bubba said, no. He said, boy, you queer or something?
I love it.
Oldie,
I love it.
but goodie. Oh, more super chats. Let's see what
we got. We got a couple more.
Oh, please don't ask for more jokes. Oh, you did send me. Thank you. You did send me a super chat. Look at you.
And then here's one more from Striker J.
Striker J, my man. Pop him up there. What's it say? Bill, have you seen the presidential clock? Monica, no. Bill, follow me both. Enter the Oval Office. Bill drops his pants. Monica, that's not a clock, sir. Bill, it will be when it gets 2 hands and a face on it. There you go. I can tell that.
God.
See, Royce can't tell it. I can tell it. Striker. Leave it to Striker J with the splint on his middle finger. Guaranteed to keep it straight, baby.
Oh, my God.
Wow. It's good stuff. All right, guys. WatchChad.com. Come find me. Hey, go out there where podcasts are offered. I want everybody listening. Go to where, like Apple Podcast or Spotify, and go find the Chad Prather Show, and go to where you can leave a rating. Give me 5 stars, and then leave me a review. Just be like, hey, whatever, Chad, whatever. You're a babe. Tell me that. So anyway, do that. It helps us in the rankings. I sure appreciate you guys. And we're done for the week. We may have a Chad's Church tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. I don't do those unless I know I need to do one. Maybe we may do that. But if I don't see you then, I will see you Monday back on Dear America. Royce, you good?
I'm good.
All right. We're out of here. Thank you, buddy. I love the rest of you and Royce, too. I love all you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the Chad Prather Show. We will talk to you next time.